So this is the second time I'm recording the script. The first time I tried to improvise a little bit more by having general thoughts, but in the end it still sounded monotone. So I'm trying to make this a little bit more abstract by still using notes, but kind of winging the audio scripting of this video in hopes that my personality shows through. I don't like my other videos, my previous two videos in this series, because my voice being monotone I feel like takes away from the actual video itself. It's just too distracting that I can't listen to the content, and I feel like other people feel the same way. And if I'm not gonna like the video, I can't really say that other people are gonna like the video as well. So let's get into what I did in November of 2024. For the schedule maker, last month I left off showing that I did add a shift filter in which you can say how many people you want to be on each shift. So if, let's say, you want 2 people to work on every shift besides Monday at 10 a.m., you can do so as, as like this. And then I did try to generate the schedules, but it didn't work last week or last month, and that should have now been fixed. But it may take some time because just the way the algorithm works. Oh, as I say this, it did find 0 schedules, and that's just the way the algorithm works. I have been noticing that the algorithm doesn't work as well if you want more than 1 mentor per shift. It will try to find some schedules, but it just takes a lot of time, more than anticipated. So I do want to try and fix the algorithm to try to improve it in some way, but that's not a priority right now. I also added a day filter in which, let's say you want each filter or each shift on Monday to have 2 mentors. Instead of adding 8 of these shift filters, you only need to add 1 day filter. But let's say you still want the Monday 10 a.m. shift to have 1 filter following the global options. The shift filters will take priority above the day filters. And like I said before, the algorithm does kind of be slow at sometimes, so I'm not going to generate things that I think will take a while. But another thing I want to note is that I did add a bit more CSS, in which if you have multiple shifts, or rather multiple filters within the same day, it does try to make it so they are next to each other, but the CSS is a bit wonky, causing a lot of excess space to be used, which I would like to fix. But let's say we want 3 people here, 3 people at 10 a.m., 2 people at 11, and 1 person at 12. And everyone else has 1 shift. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, I did add some more error handling. So since the Monday 12 a.m. shift filter we had before was redundant because it was the same as the global options, it just says either edit it or remove it. So we can just remove that and generate schedules. 30 schedules were found, and that's pretty much all I did differently for the generate schedules page. I spent a lot more time on the view schedules page, in which we still have the pagination where you can go through next pages. And so if you notice, the schedules themselves are looking a bit different, more specifically the showing 3 or 2 people. The reason why I decided to change it so it's diagonal as opposed to the names being horizontal is because the current schedules do show the names being vertically on top of each other, which has caused some confusion. Some people assume that Cooper works from 11 to 11:30, while Max works from 11:30 to 12, while it's supposed to be simultaneously the entire hour. So I think having them diagonal does make this a little bit more clear that they are working on the same shift, and just for consistency reasons, I did make it so when 3 people are on a shift, they are diagonal as opposed to vertical. Although this is what I intended the page to look like, I am not happy with the overall layout because I have to scroll to see the entire page, and honestly, I think the schedules take too much space vertically. I'm unsure of an alternative. I could try and make it so the width and the height are not the same, although that may mess with the background of when there's 2 or more mentors on the same shift. That being said, I did get 2 people to look at the entire page in itself, not just this page but actually the entire site, and they did give me some feedback, which I did try to incorporate in certain areas, but they also offered to help me develop the site, in which they would try to overhaul the front end to be a little bit more clean, which I am happy with because I do try to be a full stack developer, but I know that my skills with front end can be a little bit iffy. It takes practice, and I'm happy if someone is able to lend me their skills in order to help me improve mine. With that being said, I think this project will be on hiatus until they are able to help me, which will most likely be in January 2025 because they are in college and are currently busy. I'm happy to announce that the frequently asked question feature for the KTANE bot has been fully integrated. There are 2 ways to get it to work. You can either type FAQ with a period at the beginning or with a /. Either way, they will ask for a category, in which here are the options, and each category is the category of questions that they can fall under. So if I said general, this dropdown will come up, and you can choose, there's only 2 questions in this category for now, but if you choose one, it will first show out what the question is, and then it will give you the answer. And it seems like other people are using the bot as well, which is why it's coming up multiple times. I'm very happy QK Siri helped me get this working, because I think it's going to be very helpful for anyone who is a beginner or wants to learn something new about KTANE modding. I don't really have much else to say about this. It works. I'm most likely going to be maintaining it in the meantime, in case any new questions or any bugs happen. But yeah, I can say that this project is complete. Since I was no longer working on 2 really big projects, I decided to do a small one in the meantime. Since I am in a lot of Discord servers where my friends send me memes on various sites such as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, we usually have to click on the link in order to see the content or sometimes log in, which can be annoying because most of the content is like less than 30 seconds, but there is a way to get around that. So if I put in this Twitter link, an image will come up, and this is what we call a Twitter embed, or rather just an embed in general, which you can just see the content of the tweet itself, so you can see the text and then the image attached to it. This works for Twitter, but sometimes it won't work for all accounts because some are private, which you can bypass by taking the link and putting a certain prefix in there. And in this case, it would be fixup. It does the same thing because the original works, but you can see that the fixup link does work, because you can also see the retweets, the comments, the likes, the views, whatnot. And if I was on a private account, or if this link did go to a private tweet, you will be able to see it here as well. And the same thing goes with TikTok. So they recently added TikTok embeds. So if I clicked on it, the video will play, but before it would just be an image. And in order to actually see the link itself, or rather the video, you have to click on the link. So the fix for that was putting VX right before it says TikTok.com. And see, similar thing, you see the metrics, and then clicking on the video or clicking the play button will play the video. But it can be annoying, especially since these prefix changes a lot for various reasons. It's not really expected for everyone to remember these, so I decided to create a bot that would cut out the middleman. And we can first enable it to be on. So now it's enabled. Let's do the same thing with the Twitter link. There we go. So you can see it deleted my message because we don't want to see the same message twice. And then it added the new fix-up link, and then it said who the original author is. Now, this does not count as a ping, so if I just said A here, this would ping, this would ping everyone in this channel. But if I said A and then added the message to say here, this would not ping everyone. It wouldn't ping anyone actually, because once you add a ping, it does not actually ping the person, which is why you see this edited thing here. So it's saying it's first sending the original link, or rather the fixed link, and then it edits the message to say who sent it with the ping. So we can do the same thing for TikTok. There we go. And before, I think it was about last week, this did work with Instagram links. But unfortunately, it seems that this prefix does not work anymore. So unless I find a new prefix that does actually send the embed, I will unfortunately have to remove this. This doesn't seem to be a Discord or a bot issue. It seems to be an Instagram issue, right? Because if I just like put it myself, it doesn't even pop up here. Which is unfortunate, but that's just the way that the world is right now. That's it for the main aspect of the bot. I did add some quality of life features, in which the main thing is that the bot can be enabled or disabled, and that's just to help with spam in a server. And by default, the only person who's allowed to toggle the bot is the server owner. So if I go to view enabled users, you can check if you yourself have access to toggle the bot or someone else does. So let's say we want a certain role to toggle the bot. So we would go to allow enable, and only the server user would have access to this command. So let's pick role and let's do personal tester. So now the personal tester is allowed, and let's just make sure by viewing again. Yep, they are. And so if someone did have the personal tester role, they would be able to disable the bot, like so. Bot disabled. So let's turn that back on. Actually, let it actually show you what it looks like when the bot is off. Yeah, it just doesn't delete your message or come up at all. So let's re-enable that. And let's say we don't want the entire role to have that ability. So we can just go to disallow enable, hit role, and then hit personal tester. And it says now unable to do so. Let's verify. Instead it says NA. Yeah, this bot really didn't take me that long to do. I spent more time implementing the permissions rather than the actual deleting and editing of the message themselves, but I'm happy that it works. I would like this to be up and running for everyone to put the bot in the server, but unfortunately I do not have a easily viable way to keep the bot always running. I will most likely just link people to the repository itself and tell them what they need to do in order to run it locally in the meantime, or like I said, just try to find another way to always have it running, because right now it's just on a it's just running in Visual Studio on my computer. But yeah, that's the link parser. Since I finished one of my big projects, I decided to start an even larger project. One of my favorite games is Stardew Valley, which is similar to Minecraft and Terraria, but it's more of a farming simulator where you can do a lot more than farming. You can mine, you can fight enemies, you can build relationships. There's a lot of things you can do. And I am also a completionist, meaning I like to 100% games where I'm just doing everything the game has to offer. And in this game, that there's an achievement for that called Perfectionist, and I would like to get that achievement. I'm very close to it, but I have not gotten it in my personal save file yet, mainly because it's just a lot to do, and sometimes I need to go to the wiki in order to look a lot of things up in order to figure out what I need to do in order to get the Perfectionist achievement, which can be annoying because sometimes I'll just have 30 tabs of the wiki up in order to figure out how to do one thing. It made me think, I wish there was an algorithm or a program in some way that would tell me what to do in order to get this achievement. And that's what I decided to do, or at least start. I want to make a mod that will tell me what to do in order to get the Perfectionist achievement without needing me to open a single wiki tab, or at least that's the goal. Like I said, it's a very large game, so I decided to start with an MVP. Since I never modded the game before, I decided to start small and work my way up to more bigger tasks. Let's see the mod in action. So we can first start by creating a new save file. So the first task I have is to get 15 parsnips, and if you can see by the diagram, it first checks if the player has 15 parsnips, in which since they don't, it goes down the false branch, in which it checks if there's at least one parsnip seed somewhere in the farmhouse. And since that is correct, it is currently in this box right here. It tells me to get said parsnip seeds in the chest, and it tells me the location of it. So if I pick this up, you can see that the task went away, and that is because after every frame it goes back at the top of the task tree rather. It checks if the player has 15 parsnip seeds in their inventory, and since that is correct, the task is considered complete, and we don't need to show the player anything anymore. But let's say that I did not have 15 or any parsnip seeds in the farmhouse. Let's delete this. It's now checking that if we have any seeds on the farm, which is outside the farmhouse, this area. And since that is false, it tells us to go to the store and buy the amount of parsnip seeds we need. So let's go do that. So let's say we buy 5. Once it gets our inventory, it moves down to 10. And let's just buy the rest. Task is complete, so I don't need it anymore. Now the other task is to meet Jess, or rather, the other task is to become best friends with somebody, and in this case I just randomly chose Jess. And the game first checks if we know Jess, and since we do not, it tells us to meet her. So let's figure out where she is. At Marnie's ranch, so let's go over there. Just gonna speed up time so we don't have to wait, so she can leave her room. And now that we know Jess, the game checks, or the mod checks, if we have a max relationship with her. And since we don't, the game checks if we can give her a gift, in which case we can, so the game tells us to do so. And I know she likes pink cake, so let's spawn that in. And we did technically talk to her today when we first met her, so that's all we can do for today. So we would need to go to bed in order to talk to her again. Let's do so. It's a new day. We can give Jess a gift, so let's do that. And since we haven't talked to Jess yet, the game tells us to, because that's another way you can increase your friendship. So once you do that, that's all we can do today to give her friendship points, so again, go to bed. Now, we can't give her a gift today because the game forces you, or limits you to give each person 2 gifts per week. So we would need to wait till the end, or the start of next week in order to give her a gift. But we can still talk to her. And let's say we did that over and over and over again, and soon our relationship will go up. And since Jas is not a bachelor or bachelorette, which is just means that an NPC who you can date slash marry, the max amount of relationship points we can get with her is 10 hearts. So let's just cheat to give us those 10 hearts. And then the task is complete, so there's nothing else to do. So that's why there's nothing in the top left corner. And that's all I have implemented within the past 2 weeks. These 2 tasks have taken me in total about 20 hours to do. And I think half of those hours was just trying to get the menu in the top left to display anything. That is because I realized the game is not as documented well as I would like it to be, which I can't really fault anyone for that, but I spent a lot of time going through wiki pages in order to try to find the information I needed. Sometimes it was helpful, sometimes it wasn't. Luckily, I found a Discord server where people were able to answer my questions, and I'm very happy I decided to do this MVP because it has allowed me to realize what the scope of this project is going to be. I honestly think this project will take me at least a few months to get done, just because of the scale of the game, but I think it's a lot better that I at least try to do something small like these 2 tasks, as opposed to getting right into something like completing the community center. I will continue to create graphs like this in order to keep myself grounded and make sure I understand what I am supposed to be implementing and how it's supposed to work. In the future, I may not say every task that I have implemented because I can see that being repetitive, but I will give updates when I think I've hit a milestone. I think this month has been the most productive I've ever been while doing this web series, and I owe that to starting to use Trello boards for each of my projects. And for those who don't know, Trello is a website where you can log who is doing what, or rather what tasks you are working on and what tasks you want to do in the future, in order to ground yourself and scale how well you're working on a project. I've also used an app called Clockify, which is similar to Trello in the sense where it does log your progress, but it's more about the time aspect and how much time you have spent working on each project. And I'm using this to have a good work-life balance with personal stuff and with these projects. The other reason why I think this month was productive was because I didn't do LFA within the past month. However, I think I've been a little bit less enthusiastic working on these projects because the amount of time it takes to complete them is longer compared to LFA, which makes it seem like I don't have as much satisfaction. And honestly, I think it partly burned me out because I wasn't seeing I wasn't reaping my reward as quickly as I wanted to. In order to not burn me out as much, I think I should be working on LFA or something as small as LFA in order to keep me enthusiastic and wanting to continue working on these projects, because at the end of the day, they're personal and I'm doing them for my satisfaction as much for anyone else who uses these tools. But at the same time, I don't want to work on LFA or any other one of those small projects as much because they'll get in my way of completing my bigger projects. Which is why I decided to allow myself to do LFA support once a week, meaning by the end of the month I should only implement LFA support for 4 modules. I decided to do a similar thing with Souvenir, which I do have a video demonstrating what Souvenir is on my channel, which means by the end of the month I should have at most 8 supported KTANE semi-projects. That doesn't necessarily mean I will get 8 of them done, but if I decide to take a break by doing something smaller, that is my max goal. Otherwise, if I'm too frustrated or tired or whatnot in order to work on a big project and I already did those 8 smaller projects, I shouldn't be programming anymore and just wait until I'm more relaxed and in a better state of mind. My main plan for December is to try to get my Stardew mod out of the MVP phase and start planning for the larger project in itself. It may seem like a small goal compared to other months, but the holidays are coming up. I don't want to rush things in order to meet a superficial deadline. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I've been working on. Hopefully this video was a bit more engaging compared to my other ones. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.